I mean, the day you're born, you get a birth certificate. You know what that means? They will be taxing you until the day you die. And I buried both my parents. And let me tell you, I know exactly what I'm talking about. And then when they die, they want a death certificate so they can file it and close out that account. That's what the death certificate is for. That's what the birth certificate is for. If you haven't figured that out, it's time to start thinking. Hi folks, Tim Sundles here. Kim is filming on her iPhone and she's looking beautiful as always. She just shook her head no. So I want to talk about something that needs to be talked about. You see there's no guns here. There's just something that needs to be talked about. We've touched on it before. I'm going to hit it from a different form. Literally a different form. So
those of you who don't like politics, you can turn it off now.
Well, it's about your money. It's about your taxes that are being confiscated. And if you don't pay it, you lose your property, you lose your bank accounts. They just take it from you.
That's politics and government.
So I'm so glad the government's here to help out. So as you know, Kim and I, we are Wyoming residents. We're not Idaho residents. We have a nice place in Wyoming that we keep private. We don't film anything there. And the day will come when I sell buffalo bore ammunition and probably sell this house and property here, and we'll probably just retire in Wyoming. We became Wyoming residents. There's just several mountain ranges there I love, and Wyoming has no income tax. And so, rather than give Idaho or some other state, $100,000 or $200,000 a year just for the pleasure of living in their beautiful state and contributing and hiring people and making life better for everybody around us, we decided a few years ago, since Kim's from Wyoming, and I've owned property in Wyoming before, we just decided to move back. And we did that a couple of years ago. So last month, Kim and I decided this place we have there was a little 3-acre piece of ground next to it for sale. And we thought, well, that'd be a perfect place to buy. And it's just vacant land. We could build a condominium on it and, or a barn dominium. I mean, we could put a barn dominium on it for our friends to come visit and have a little 3-acre pasture there for some extra horses or whatever. And, drill a well and do all that, run electricity into it and just do all that and have it be adjacent to our property for friends and family to stay. So we buy this piece of bare ground. It's 3.2 acres or something like that. We buy this piece of ground, and in the mail comes a form. Now I want to show you what lemmings we all are. I want to show you what cowards we all are. So we buy this little piece of ground that's for sale to kind of supplement the place that we'll retire in someday and live full time. And we get this letter, and it's a sales verification questionnaire from the state of Wyoming. Now, Wyoming is one of the most conservative states in the nation, and yet they've totally sold out. They've sold their people out. I mean, we got to do something to turn this out of control, thieving government around. So there's a whole page explaining what all this is for. I'm just going to read you a couple of lines on it. The information from these studies of real estate transactions makes possible the improvement in making accurate property tax assessments in county. You have 10 days to return this form filled out. It probably sat on my desk for more than 10 days before I even opened it because it was from the government, and I'm actually busy with having a productive life. I don't live to serve my government. It's supposed to be the other way around. And then also it says, per Wyoming state statute, all property is to be taxed in the name of the owner as of January 1. Due to this, all notices of value and tax notices will be sent to the seller for that current tax year if the deed is filed after January 1st. So this whole thing's about them taking your money And they have questions on the back. Now, folks, one of the main elements in being free, one of the main elements in a free society and having the right to pursue happiness is to own property. You don't own squat in America. I'm telling you, you don't. Because they will assess you property tax. If you don't pay the property tax, guess who ends up with your property? The government. They will take it from you. Oh yeah, they'll jump through their legal hoops. They made it all legal to do this before they did it. By the way, Hitler did the same thing. He made it all legal to do the stuff he did, including bringing doctors in that said, oh, that Jew is sick, this Jew is sick, this Jew is sick, kill him. I mean, Hitler made it legal, folks. If you think America is some light on the hill, you're mistaken. The only ones that think that are the ones that work for the government and take your money and enrich themselves with it.
For the pension.
Yeah, for the pension and other things. You know, never mind the under the table payments and all that.
Why are any of us working for the government? If we stop doing that, the government wouldn't be able to run people. Let's think about that. I know they give you lots of benefits to help you to decide that they are the best employer ever, but we need to stop doing that.
Well, everybody says, when I complain about property taxes, which on this house and piece of property are $8,000 a year, people go, well, yeah, but it's to fund the public schools. And I'm like, oh, that's good. In the public schools, they teach your kid how to be gender confused, how to get sex changes, how to be a furry. You know, they'll put litter boxes in the bathrooms, and they'll teach your kid, they'll revise history, and they will brainwash your children, and you pay for it.
Paying for the indoctrination.
I mean,
like the colleges.
If you wonder how our society has slid so far downhill, seriously, look no further than the public schools, which you're paying for. And they're screwing up your kids. Okay, the questionnaire part. I love this stuff. Not really. Okay, they want to know what we purchased. They have the address. They have the lot description. They've got everything. They want to know what we purchased. You know, was it land only? Was it a manufactured home? Was it built? You know, what kind of buildings were on it? And then they want to know your anticipated use of the property. It's none of their fucking business. They want to know the anticipated use. Is it going to be vacant, single family, multifamily, commercial, agricultural, industrial? Then they want to know, does the property have any of the following? City water, city sewer, well, septic, propane, none of the above. They want to know this so they can tack on assessments.
It's all about money, folks.
And we're the lemmings that sit here, oh, let me fill out the form and send it back so they can tax me. I'm not sending this form back. They can just fucking figure it out on their own.
Well, and they don't care. On that form, I think it even says, and you know, if we don't receive this from you, we will be out to your property to inspect it. That's where you
no, they're going to do that anyway. It's on the form.
You want to get a good guard dog, because I used to know an assessor in Wyoming, Gina, and man, they got chased and bit and everything else on their property, because when those assessors came out, Gina and her crew, she was a very nice lady.
Yeah, but she was a fucking tax assessor.
Well, I know, but and
she
again,
was your friend. I get it.
They do it for the money. I get it, folks. There's going to be many of you government workers out there that aren't going to like to hear us say that, but you know it. You know it. If you look deep inside yourself and you have a soul, you know you've sold yourself out. Sorry, you did.
Gina. And we love Gina.
And we love you. And it doesn't
but I'm sorry.
Somebody, but you sold yourself out.
I'm sorry. These people need to be scalped and shot.
I would work at McDonald's before I'd work for a government agency. Sorry.
Yeah,
I guess I wouldn't have.
And that's coming from an ex-district attorney.
Yep.
Okay, so has the property been improved or damaged? Or have any structures been added or removed since the date of sale? And if yes, please describe. And if yes, do you feel that the financing had any effect on this property? And they want to know who provided the financing, by the way. Was it seller financed? Was it a bank? If so, which bank? And then, were there any discounts offered? See, if you got a discount, they're going to adjust it to true market value. So you go, yeah, I got a $20,000 discount because I'm a nice guy. Whoop, they're going to assess you for 20 grand more than you paid for it.
And when you give them your bank accounts, they'll just lean all your bank
Oh,
accounts.
we're getting to that. You don't rush me. I'm going over a government form.
Be complete.
Okay. And so if there were any discounts offered, describe the reason for the discount and provide the amount of the discount. Does the sale price include any personal property items? See, you're going to get your ass taxed on that too. Yeah, if they threw in their furniture or whatever, and it says if there was personal property items included, please provide an estimate of the amount. And like a fucking lemming, people are going to just write, yeah, I got 25 grand worth of furniture. We came with the house. I mean, people, quit it. Just don't comply. Okay.
None of this is legal.
Was this property listed with a real estate agency or for sale by owner? Please indicate how you discovered the property was for sale. Internet, newspaper, signs, advertisements. And here's the one I like. Was a trade of property involved in this transaction? See, they want to know everything about you. This is kind of like a dumb phone. You've got a smartphone that tracks you everywhere you go, can even listen in on conversations if if you've got it with you and it's powered up. They can do all that. But so was there a trade of property involved in this transaction? If yes, please provide the amount of item in trade. I mean, they're going to get you because you're stupid. Are you related or affiliated with the seller in any way? If yes, please define the relationship. How about fuck you? There. Okay. So are there circumstances other than those outlined in this form that would prevent this sale from representing the fair market value of such transaction? That's what this is all about. They want to nail you for as much as they can. And it's probably unconstitutional to be nailing you at all because you have a right to own property. And if you don't pay your property tax, you don't own property. They'll take it from you.
Which is not constitutional.
Yeah, which is unconstitutional. So, such as owning adjacent property, a high desire to have a particular parcel, tax write-off, etc. If so, please explain. If you have knowledge, please provide the number of days the property was on the market. Does this sale have a business, personal property account associated with it? If so, please provide the business name, account, and address. Folks, this is Wyoming. If you think this is bad, you ought to move to California. I mean,
anybody that's an intelligent real estate attorney, feel free to chime in here. We love your thoughts. We'd love to hear what you have to say about this and the constitutionality, the legality, all of that. We would love to hear. Feel free to comment.
I no longer comply. I am not going to do their homework for them.
He just did a Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, I did. And mine's legal. And Nancy's wasn't. And if
Nancy's was treasonous.
Folks, we got to quit going along with this. So let me tell you what the definition of a cancer is. A cancer is cells that replicate uncontrollably. Does that sound like your government? That's all government knows how to do is replicate, create more jobs, more agencies, more departments, more bureaus. That's your government. It's a freaking cancer.
And we're paying for it. So when they say it's government funded, we're paying for all of it, guys, through our taxes. Well, government doesn't have any money except for through us.
They don't create anything. Nothing but headaches and paperwork and jobs for themselves and under the table kickbacks for themselves. So let me give you another example. We only live in Wyoming and Idaho. And those are the only two states I've lived in for many years. So I can't talk about other states. But like during COVID, let me just talk about the ineptitude and how they can get away with murder. But if you violate one little rule, you're going to get fined or penalized. And they've made that legal. They've got a statute that says, Code 5, page 3, paragraph 41 says, they've got that. Okay, so Hitler had that too, just saying. So anyway, during COVID, I have 6 trucks because I own a business, and they're all 1 ton and 3/4 ton trucks, except for the 1/2 ton that we do most of our putting around in. But I have to have those for business. So I've got all these trucks. So every year, I've got to renew my registration. I'd like to just register them for 10 years and not have to deal with it. Because if I have a shortage of anything, it's time. So the state of Idaho, for all 6 trucks, I get 6 letters, says your insurance has lapsed, and if you don't send us proof of insurance, we will cancel your registration. Well, folks, I've never in my adult life driven a car that wasn't fully insured. I always put lots of extra insurance on them because I have a lot to lose. And I do want to be responsible. If I somehow fall asleep at the wheel or something and kill somebody, I want to be able to cover some of that through insurance. And so I've never not been insured. So now I go in my insurance file, like I've got time to do this shit for the state. I get copies of all my insurance policies. I mail them all in. About a month and a half goes by, and I get a cancellation notice for my registration on each truck because I didn't have insurance. Now, this was probably 2022. So they canceled all my registrations. So I go down to the local courthouse here in Salmon, Idaho, and I need to renew these registrations. They look them up on the computer and they go, oh, and I brought proof of insurance, for the local office. They go, oh, well, it was the state that canceled these. It wasn't the local office. You can only do this in Boise. I'm like, I live 6 hours from Boise. You know that. Well, it's not our problem. We didn't cancel it. Boise did. You can only renew it in Boise. I'm like, you've got to fucking be kidding me. You incompetent, selfish, unthoughtful, useless pieces of shit. Why do I have to register a car every year anyway? Why don't I buy it? We put a license plate number on it. I pay your freaking sales tax. I pay for the car. I pay rubber tax, which is hidden in the price of tires every time I change tires. I pay a hidden gas tax, an excise tax of over 50 cents a gallon every time I fuel up. I pay all this shit anyway. I pay income tax. I pay property tax where I park the truck. All this stuff I pay. Why am I annually giving them more money to get registration that they can't even keep straight? So I try calling the Boise office because I really don't want to drive there, wait 5 hours in a line to wait my turn to get to a desk and a human
that doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah, that'll give me a different story than the people in Salmon gave me. And I finally get a hold of somebody. It took several tries. She goes, mail each one in with your old registration number and showing that you had insurance during that time, and we will renew those, but you're going to have to pay back registration because these things have been now out of registration for 6 or 8 months. So I do that on all 6 vehicles. 3 of them come back with new registrations and a bill. Got to pay the bill within 10 days or the registration is canceled again. 3 of them don't. I never hear back from them on the other 3. So to this day, I am driving trucks that are unregistered. I gave up. I gave the fuck up because Idaho wants your money, but Idaho there's no way to penalize these bastards when they don't do their job, when they cost you extra time, when they cost you extra money. What are we, a bunch of fucking spineless jellyfish as humans? I think we are. I think we are total pieces of shit wimps.
They're using all of us.
I mean, the day you're born, you get a birth certificate. You know what that means? They will be taxing you until the day you die. And I buried both my parents. And let me tell you, I know exactly what I'm talking about. And then when they die, they want a death certificate so they can file it and close out that account. That's what the death certificate is for. That's what the birth certificate is for. If you haven't figured that out, it's time to start thinking.
Well, same with the marriage certificate.
Marriage certificate, same with probate courts. I had to take both my parents' stuff through probate courts. Never mind that my mother had a living will and a complete will. Never mind that my father, whom she was divorced from, my genetic father, had a living will and a full will. And they made it very clear how they wanted things divided up, where things were supposed to go. Do you think that my sister and I could get any of the proceeds from any of that in less than 18 months? And we had to hire attorneys to do it, which they don't refund you for. It had to go through probate court. You had to do some filings. And, you know, and this was Idaho and Montana. I'm telling you, this shit needs to stop. And I'm not sending them their stupid form. I don't give a shit. So, guys, can we stop complying? Stop doing what they're telling you to do. They're using you.
And can we all find new employment that is not with the government, that actually is doing good things for good people and making money? I know everyone wants to make money. I know everyone needs to make money. There are plenty of jobs out there. We need to stop helping this corrupt government that has been for as long as we can remember, since we were alive anyway.
Well, you and I were born in a time when, you know, it was trust the government, you know, call the judge your honor. Nothing makes me want to puke more in the last 25 years than calling a judge. My wife's sitting here nodding her head up and down because she was a district attorney. Nothing makes me want to puke more than calling a judge your honor. I go out of my way to call him judge. That's what I call them. Yes, judge, no judge.
Well, just like doctors, you know, they were considered God. I think
at least they're not paid by the government.
That's true. But they've been schooled by the government and indoctrinated.
Well, they're very indoctrinated. And I think COVID shook a few of them up and got them to open their eyes about the AMA and other agencies within America. Folks, we love you guys. And I don't mean to sound like a Debbie Downer. I'm just telling you the truth. I didn't make any of this up. Don't be angry at me if you work for the government. All I'm doing is pointing it out. I didn't cause any of this other than that I went along for too many decades. I'm done going along. Done. You know,
we all should be. We all need to unite together and stop complying.
I'm going to keep driving these unregistered trucks until I get a ticket, which forces me into court, and I have to fix it with a registration.
Hey, maybe the judge can help us. They're so perfect.
And yeah, maybe the judge can help. I have sent fines to the IRS before because they audited me in error. They didn't pay them. Shit, with the interest and penalties on those fines from 25 years ago, they owe me a lot. Now, if you don't figure out your taxes right, you're going to get an interest and penalty, and you don't pay that, they're going to seize your properties.
Oh, they'll take money straight from your bank account, which they've done to us as well.
Yeah.
We can't take money out of their bank accounts. They don't have any.
That was the state of Idaho that did that the year we had the barn fire. The year we had the barn fire,
didn't matter that we lost millions of dollars on that. That didn't matter.
That wasn't your average barn. It had a house inside of it, and it had beautiful horse stalls and 30 custom-made saddles. I mean, my horse barn I liked it better than the house.
Vehicles, everything, tractors.
And because we spend many months a year in Africa, I just can't jump on whatever the government, they just expect me to wait in front of my computer and hang on to my phone for them to call or email so I can do whatever they want. Well, I got my taxes filed late. They said I owed money. And I said, well, I'm going to refile because I had a barn fire in the interim. I lost about $1.5 million in cash.
And more in property.
Well, I mean, it was paid for, so I'm just saying cash, not green cash. I'm saying that's what it was worth with the contents and the building, at least $1.5 million.
Oh, I'd say a lot more. But...
Well, and the tractor that had a brand new big John Deere in it that burned up, had four-wheelers in it that burned up.
Irreplaceable things that burned up.
Oh, yeah, family stuff that you can't put a value on, stored out there. So I said no. I wrote them, and I called them, and I said, no, I'm not going to pay you that $30,000 that I owe you for last year because I had a massive personal loss that my accountant didn't know about when he did all of our taxes, and I'm going to redo our taxes and send it in to you. You guys will end up owing me money. I mean, I don't owe you anything, so just be patient. Well, they kept calling me. Well, when are you going to get that updated tax return? Well, you know what? I've been in Africa. I actually have a life. I don't live to serve you people. That's not what I live for. Well, okay, so we get a bank statement a month or two later. Boop, they took out not $30,000 that I owed them, $33,000 for the penalties and interest on top of the $30,000. They just took it right out of our personal bank account. Do you think I personally bank in Idaho anymore? Do you think that my assets and my income and my spending is going to go to Idaho anymore? I don't have time to go back and fight them and show them that they took that money in error. Actually, they did it on purpose. They knew what they were doing. By the time they did it, they had my updated taxes. So I'm not going to go back and fight them. But they're not getting any more of my money. I am fucking done. I have, for my business, I'm sales tax exempt on anything that's business related, and I am a legal resident of another state. Idaho can't go there and attack my bank accounts. And I make no money as a resident of Idaho. Bye-bye, Idaho. And, folks, we got to quit complying. We got to quit. This is ridiculous. We love you guys. Until the next video, God bless.